Imagine opening your eyes for the first time, and the sky above you isn't blue, it's pink. There are no oceans outside your window, no trees, no birds. And the gravity beneath your feet is less than half of what humans evolved with on Earth. You're the first person in history to be born somewhere other than Earth. But here's the strange part. You wouldn't just be living on another planet. That planet would be helping build your body, your bones, your muscles, your heart, even the way you move. And nobody knows exactly what a human raised on Mars would look like because we've never done it before. But what scientists already know about the human body in low gravity gives us a disturbing possibility. The first human born on Mars might grow into someone who is perfectly adapted to Mars and badly adapted to Earth. And if that happens, Earth could become the planet they can never come home to.
Chapter 1. The human body was built for Earth. We usually think of the human body as something permanent. 2 arms, 2 legs, a heart, a skeleton, a brain. But your body is constantly responding to the environment around you. Every time you stand up, gravity pulls on your skeleton. Every time you walk, your muscles push against Earth's surface. Every time your heart pumps blood upward toward your brain, it is fighting gravity. You've never had to think about any of this because Earth has been doing it for you since the moment you were born. But Mars is different. Its gravity is only about 38% of Earth's, and that changes everything. Because if a child grew up there, their body wouldn't receive the same physical signals a child receives on Earth. And that's where the experiment gets terrifyingly interesting.
Chapter 2. The child who grows up light. Think about what happens to astronauts in space. When gravity is almost completely removed, their bodies start changing. Their muscles weaken, their bones lose density, their cardiovascular system changes. Even their balance and movement are affected. And astronauts are adults who already spent their entire childhood growing up under Earth's gravity. Now imagine something completely different. A child who never experiences normal Earth gravity at all. We don't know exactly what that child would become, and that's important. There has never been a human raised from birth on Mars. But we do know that childhood is when the skeleton, muscles, nervous system, and cardiovascular system are developing. So Mars wouldn't simply be a place where this child lives. It could become part of the environment that shapes their development. Maybe they would be taller. Maybe their bones would develop differently. Maybe their muscles and cardiovascular system would be adapted to a weaker gravitational pull. Maybe some changes would be subtle. Maybe others would be dramatic. We don't know. And that uncertainty is exactly what makes the first Mars-born humans so fascinating. Because they wouldn't be an astronaut visiting another world. They would be a human whose body developed there. But gravity isn't the only problem. There's something above them that never stops. Chapter 3. The sky that can hurt you. Look up at Earth's sky. It looks harmless, but above you is an enormous, invisible protection system. Earth's atmosphere and magnetic field help shield life from dangerous radiation coming from space. Mars doesn't have the same level of protection. Its atmosphere is extremely thin, and its global magnetic field disappeared billions of years ago. That means people living on the Martian surface would face much greater radiation exposure than people living on Earth. And this isn't science fiction. Radiation can damage cells and DNA. Long-term exposure can increase health risks. That's one reason future Mars habitats would need serious shielding. Buried habitats, thick walls, water or other materials positioned between people and the radiation outside. Because on Mars, the sky itself becomes part of the survival problem. But there's an even bigger question. What happens if the person born there ever wants to leave? Chapter 4. What if Earth becomes too heavy? Imagine this person at 30 years old. They've spent their entire life on Mars. They know Mars. They've learned to walk in its gravity. They've built their muscles and bones under its conditions. They've never experienced a normal Earth day. Then one day, someone tells them, "We're taking you home." Home. The word sounds beautiful, but physically, Earth might not feel like home at all. Earth's gravity is more than twice as strong as Mars,
and their body may have developed differently because of a lifetime in low gravity. We can't say exactly what would happen. That's the honest scientific answer. Maybe advanced medicine could help. Maybe intensive rehabilitation could prepare them. Maybe artificial gravity could be used throughout their development to prevent the worst effects. Or maybe a Mars-born human could eventually tolerate Earth better than we expect. We simply don't know yet. But imagine the possibility. After spending your entire life dreaming about Earth, you finally arrive. You step outside, and the planet where every human ancestor lived feels physically wrong. The air is familiar, the oceans are real, the sky is blue, but your body isn't prepared for this world. For the first time in human history, home might not feel like home.
Chapter 5. The real experiment isn't Mars. And this is where the story gets much bigger. Because the first person born on Mars wouldn't just be an experiment in space exploration. They would be an experiment in human development. For hundreds of thousands of years, every human who ever lived developed under Earth's gravity. Then, suddenly, one child wouldn't. That child could grow up differently. Their descendants could continue growing up differently. And if humans eventually created settlements on the Moon, Mars, and artificial space habitats, we could eventually have populations of humans developing under completely different environments. Earth humans, Mars humans, space habitat humans. Not different species, not aliens, still human, but shaped by different worlds. And that raises a question we've never had to seriously ask before. How much of the human body is actually human, and how much of it is Earth?
Chapter 6. The first Martian generation. Now, imagine that child growing older. They look at photographs of Earth, blue oceans, green forests, clouds covering continents. They hear stories about a place where rain falls from the sky, where people can walk outside without wearing pressure suits, where the air is safe to breathe. To them, Earth could sound almost mythical. Because for us, Earth is normal. For them, Mars is normal. And that difference might be more important than the physical changes. Because eventually, a generation could be born that has never stood on Earth. They wouldn't think of Earth as their home. They would think of it as the home of their ancestors. And that's when humanity's relationship with Earth changes forever.
Chapter 7. Would they still feel like us? Here's the strange part. If you met this person, you might recognize them immediately. They would still laugh. They would still get scared. They would still fall in love. They would still have dreams. They would still wonder what exists beyond the horizon. Their DNA would still be human, but their entire experience of being alive would be different. They'd know what a dust storm on Mars feels like. They'd know what Earth looks like from photographs. They'd know a sky filled with stars that most humans have only seen through telescopes. And maybe one day, they'll look back at Earth and realize something we haven't had to confront yet. Humanity no longer has one home. It has two, or three, or eventually, hundreds.
Chapter 8. The first person who never comes home. So imagine that first Martian-born child again. The pink sky, the weak gravity, the distant Earth hanging somewhere beyond the horizon. Maybe they'll grow up perfectly healthy. Maybe they'll need artificial gravity and advanced medical technology. Maybe they'll be able to visit Earth. Maybe they won't. We don't know. And that's the point. Because the first human born on another planet won't just answer questions about Mars. They'll force us to answer questions about ourselves. What happens when humans stop being shaped by one planet? What happens when home becomes a place you've never visited? And what happens when the next generation doesn't look at Earth and think, that's my home? But instead, that's where we came from. The first human born on Mars won't just be the beginning of a new generation. They could be the moment humanity stops being a species of one world and becomes a species of many.
So here's the question. If you had the chance to be one of the first humans born and raised on another world,
Would you take it? Even if it meant Earth might never feel like home again? Comment Mars if you'd go. Comment Earth if you'd stay. And if you want to see what happens to a human body after spending an entire year in space, watch the next video, because what happened to astronaut Scott Kelly after 340 days in orbit was stranger than most people realize.